Hello everybody and welcome to another playthrough here for Rookie Division, a general playthrough with therefore general wins. These are not the wins that you will have in the tournament, but it's a great help for you to get an understanding on how you can play some of the holes. It's the first major of 2025, and the course we are going to play is Shiruba Springs. If you do enjoy the content here on the channel, hit the thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the notification as well. If you're looking to improve your game even more, we do have premium guides, which is tournament guides with the tournament win for Expert and Master Division. But if you're not playing Expert or Master Division, you can sign up to our starter pack on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. That will give you general text guides, which will give you the initial elevations and also, rough ideas on how to play the holes, the different ways that you can play and stuff like that. You can check everything out by scanning the QR code here on the screen or use the link in the description down below. Last but not least, you can follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. That will change on every single hole depending on what hole it is, so you get updated and accurate information, obviously. Now let's go to hole number 1. On hole 8, the drive. Here I'm using a power 3 ball, utilizing the tailwind, aiming left of the light pole and trying to just bounce my ball up safely on the fairway. In the end, I ending up using 4 topspin and 2 right spin, and adjustment is max plus 10 P3. You can obviously play with a different ball here, such as a P2 or P1 ball, but the good part with using a P3 ball is that you don't have to go with any overpower if using that type of ball. Perfect it is, and we're going to bounce on the fairway over the other fairway to get ourselves a nice position on the second shot. Yardage is 350. Second shot, we're looking at that one as well. Now I'm using the backbone. This shot is actually very good in terms of you can still have a decent ball guideline even with a worse clubs. So you don't really have to play with Grizzly 7 or 7 plus or B52 7 plus to have a good look at this hole. The only difference that I would do here though, if you compare a backbone 8 and like a Grizzly 7 plus that have 4.5 ball guideline, is to aim the ball guideline slightly short. True club distance minus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. A perfect ball here will have a very good chance for a drop. Bounces on the fairway and it comes up and it rolls dead center for a lovely eagle here on hole number 8. For hole number 2, we are going to go for a rough bump. Even though it may look scary, but there is something there that there isn't if you're bouncing on the fairway. That is called a funnel. And a funnel is when you do have room to actually move a little bit more left, a little bit more right, and you will still be in the same spot with the ball guideline. Does this mean that you will automatically drop it just because you hit perfect? No, you still have to have the proper adjustment, still have to center the ball, still have to have a proper pull angle and stuff like that. So that will not change. But what it does though is that it gives you a little bit more room for error once you do have a proper adjustment, and it's going to be less lucky to drop a shot like this compared to if you're bouncing on the fairway. Max plus 10 adjustment ball comes in, and I think this is in all the way, but we are just burning the left hand side. To have that said there in the end as well, if you do not feel confident with the rough bump, which is totally fine, then you can always use all the backspin that you can on your long iron, bounce on the fairway on the right. Sure, the drop for the hole-in-one will be rare compared to the rough bump, but it will always be super duper safe. Hole number 3 of the Shiruba Springs is hole number 9 in the Superstar 9 hole cup. Here we're playing with a power 5 ball, and I would say that's an important thing to do, as we do want to get as close to the green as possible on the second shot. Now a control drive to try to just get the ball down the fairway. 10% elevation. I'm gonna play minimum distance together with that. The topspin will vary depending on if you do have a headwind, crosswind, or tailwind. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway, and we're getting it over here. And here we want to be as close to the rough on the right without obviously rolling into the rough. Second shot, we are going to use the fairway on the right. And here comes the very difficult part with this par 5, is that we can't really reach the green in 2. So we're going to have to do our best to get as close as possible. Tailwind on this shot, meaning left to right wind off tee, is going to be super helpful, as then you can play into the wind. But if you're having headwind, you can just imagine that we will go much shorter, and then it's going to be a much tougher third shot. Now on the second shot, we're going to play the wedge. I'm gonna play that 110% elevation as well, and take a look at the wedge just as a reference. Here, use the wedge that gives you the best accuracy and ball guideline. Here, in this case, it's the Firefly level 5 for me, but I would say using an Endbringer or something like that in a decent level is definitely the one to prefer. Even though I do have a lot of topspin here, what I will recommend is to try to have your first bounce either on the fringe or very close to the fringe, because there are many glitch spots here, and this spot here is by experience the best. The 10% elevation, and then whatever way you decide to adjust your wedge. Try to hit perfect with this needle. And you see the ball comes up here and rolls down, and we're getting it to drop for an eagle here on hole number 3. And the thing is though, an eagle here is definitely going to be something not everyone is gonna get. Shiruba Springs, par 3, playing from the front tee, and this is, in my opinion, a tougher hole from the front tee than what it is from the second tee, and for the third tee as well. And the reason is the ball guideline, and the ball guideline alone. Because when looking at this here now, we would love to have a good ball guideline to attack the pin, because there are so much fairway, so much green to cover before we actually end up by the hole. So what I decide to do, which I think is the more safe approach, but also in actually the better chance for the hole in one, as we can control the speed of the ball once it hits the ground better by using backspin, is that we're aiming past the bunker, and we are using backspin and some right spin to aim slightly short of hole as it is tailwind. And then we adjust medium distance plus 10 using a navigator, and we're using the long iron that gives us the best ball guideline that we do have, which is the Goliath of my clubs. It could be different for you. Obviously, playing with a Grizzly in a decent level would give you a very good ball guideline, which would be the best club actually to use here. But don't really have that here on this account, unfortunately. But here, Shiruba Springs, I would say this is not the toughest, this is not the easiest, but good chance for an hole-in-one. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guides for the first major of 2025. The Winter Major is here, a full 9 of the Shiruba Springs. We have recently launched a standalone free-to-play package on patreon.com/golfclashtommy for Master Division. There you get all our free-to-play options in an own guide document. You don't have to fiddle around looking for them amongst all the paid ball options. Also, that's a way for you, for a cheaper price, be able to access what is objectively seen as the best guides on the market to start improving your game. And you know, you will notice for yourself how you can actually be competitive, even though you may not believe it, but you can still be competitive by just playing free to play. Obviously, we do have other packages as well. For Expert and Master Division, we do provide premium guides for all the 18-hole tournaments that is provided in the game. Not cups, regular 18-hole tournaments. You get free to play options, paid ball options, And you can play with clubs that are not just max clubs. I'm not saying that you can play with Apocalypse level 2, but in Apocalypse level 4 plus in Expert, Apocalypse level 5 plus or Extra Mile level 9 in Master, and obviously some other clubs that we will be using as well. Strongly recommend you to try it out if you haven't done it already, to see for yourself why thousands and thousands of players are using our shots every single tournament. So scan the QR code or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description and down below. Try it out for 30 days and see for yourself how you can improve your game. On hole number 3, another NMT. We are going to go with 3 right spin and no top spin or back spin. And we're doing extra mile and a katana ball. Adjust is max plus 10. And then we're going to play with half a ball of right curl. Perfect ball it is. And we're going to bounce on the fairway. And we're going to bounce down the fairway, focusing on getting up into long iron range. There we go, 326 yards, that's great. Now for the second shot we're going to play with our Goliath. Now the difficult part is obviously, as always, trying to judge what club that distance you're in. You're gonna be somewhere between minimum and minimum and maximum distance. So what I do here in the video is that I'm playing this one slightly less than medium distance, which in the end happens to be not accurate. As I do miss just on the right hand side. So from this range we should have been playing this one just completely medium distance instead. Adjustment is made and then hit perfect. You can see that I used the top of the yellow ring to be just by the rough line, and the applied spin, so the ball guideline was still short of pin, because the important part to have in mind is that the Goliath does not have a full developed ball guideline, and then that needs to be compensated for by leaving short, otherwise we will come in too hot. Just burning the right edge, but we know what to do for the next time to give ourselves a even better chance for an eagle. For hole number 6, we want to have a lot of topspin on our drive. So if you do not have the higher level drivers such as Thor's Hammer, Extra Mile, Apocalypse, then the Big Topper is definitely a perfect club for this. I'm using as much left spin that I can together with the top spin, so 7 top spin, 3 left spin with my Big Topper, and you don't have to have a Big Topper level 4 to play this type of shot. You can have a Big Topper level 1 and still have the possibility to have those stats. Adjust max plus 10 it is, not max plus 20, so I'm changing that right there. So max plus 10, and we're using curl. Here we should have used a little bit more curl than what we are using, or we should have moved our target a little bit more left. The intention is to clip the rough to roll out onto the fairway, and from there just play ourselves towards the green. The problem with this type of hole and having low level clubs is that you will most likely have to just fight for the eagle, because you have to make it over to that second fairway and actually reach to a certain distance on that fairway to actually have a shot for the pin. Otherwise it's going to be just to shoot yourself as close to the green possible and get yourself the eagle. Because you can see here now that I'm using my big dog level 6, using all the top spin together with some left spin, and I'm aiming to have the second bounce in the rough. This is a controlled way of using the rough to roll out for a short wedge. You will see many of your opponents trying to bounce over that rough and glitch roll into the back rough. I rather see myself playing conservative and lay up like this and have a very short wedge to lock in the eagle. Minus 20% is the elevation on the approach, and the reason for that is because we're playing massively uphill and the wind will affect the ball very little. On hole number 6, here is another send it, and we're gonna use the Big Topper. This is a little bit trickier than the one that we had on hole number 5, but when it is a tailwind here, I'm always looking to send it over the right hand side, as in a worst case scenario I will be in the rough very close to green, and that compared to having to lay up short, then I rather take a short iron close to green then I would be taking a rough iron by the green. That's at least my stance with this here. So all the top spin and a little bit of left spin and try to hit perfect. Now I'm lucky hitting a poor great left, but you can see that I'm still rolling out, ending up playing a wedge. And now, as for those of you that watched hole number 5, notice that I had the wrong wedge packed in because I had a poor ball guideline. Here you can see how easy it becomes while having a better ball guideline with the Firefly level 5. Now I totally understand that not all of you watching here have a wedge that is in a decent level, but if you have, always ensure pack that one. So what did we learn about the wedges for hole 5 and 6? Always pack the one that has the best possible ball guideline. Hole number 8, and we are going to bounce on the fairway. You can see me dabbling around a little bit with a rough bump here, and the rough bump is definitely a viable option if you have the top spin enough. But if you do not have the top spin enough, then it's just going to be a too aggressive way for very little reward. Having the Goliath would be the only club in the very lowest level that do have the top spin, but again, then great balls may not be safe on left and right side. So now I'm trying like this kind of bounce down play. The difficult part with a play like this is that you have to estimate with your ball guideline how the ball will come in towards the hole. It's very easy to come in shorter than expected or longer than expected because you have to estimate the bounces after the first and the second bounce. Using 2 backspin, 1.5 left spin, adjust max plus 20, and the ball comes in nicely, a little bit too short, but in the end we do have a chance for an hole-in-one, and the end result will many times be a birdie, which is totally fine. Shiruba Springs, hole number 9. That is hole number 5 in the Superstar 9-hole cup. Start with the big topper, max top spin, 1 right spin. Now we're looking at the ball guideline mainly, trying to get the ball guideline to go not straight down the fairway, but looking towards the rock there in the background that is left of that light pole. Adjustment is going to be minimum distance, no elevation, as we are playing very close to minimum club. That's also why I'm using a power 1 ball to avoid myself to go in between clubs. Center the ball and hit perfect. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway and it goes beautifully down the fairway. And the further down we are on the fairway, the better it's going to be. When it comes to the second shot here, use a club that do have a decent amount of top spin. You don't have to play with a horizon here if you don't want to. But even with a lower level horizon, you have no issue by getting the ball down there. We can easily playing with the big dog or playing with a low level cataclysm or something like that. The goal here with this shot is to go short rather than long, and the reason for that is if you go too long, there is a downslope on the green that will make you fall down into the rough, and that's not something we want to do. 10% elevation through club distance, normally gonna be around medium distance of your club. Using some curl as well to compensate, and it bounces on the fairway down towards the green, and even though it might look that the ball is gonna fall down into the hole, it's never gonna do that. It doesn't have the hill enough to do so, but I will take this pot for an eagle all day and every day. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this general playthrough for Rookie Division for the Winter Major Tournament, the first major of the 2025. If you're looking to improve your game, we do have our starter pack on patreon.com/golfclashtommy that will give you the initial elevations and also some very good information on how to attack the courses. Obviously, we do have some more in-depth guides as well, but then you will have to play Expert or Master Division to get some value from that. But check it out, patreon.com/golfclashtommy, scan the QR code or use the link in the description down below. Now, last but not least, a massive good luck in the Winter Major Tournament.